righty. Sorry for me being a little late this morning. I was just waiting on somebody to show up at my door, but never did. But anyway, that's a part of the norm, the story of my life. But anyway, we are live and we have big, huge show. We have a lot to get into. We have Phillies and Mutts. We have
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Before you even go any further, what is up with the Mets colors, bro?
Mets. This is like kind of a purplish,
It's
dude.
blue and orange.
You want to point at my nipple?
No, I'm not. You're going to start this already?
Yeah.
It's bad enough you gave up the Patterson Avenue show, like
Yes.
talking about your Red Rockets and everything else.
Yes.
No, that stops right here, right now.
Why? Because it's Sunday?
Yes, it's Sunday. It is the Lord's Day.
Yes.
It
So we
stops
can't
right
hop in the sex swing.
No, you cannot.
All right.
All right. Now we're going to discuss this Met color you got on
Yeah.
there.
Well, first of all, I got to get the introductions. Good morning to you, Michael,
Well, thank you there, Patrick.
and to our man Dom Lewis. Dom, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, Pat? How you doing, man? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Listen, Dom, I work with your brother.
Yeah.
I see. I don't know how you don't have the gray hairs attached to your head because he calls me a lot. No, and he's a good dude. And of course, the man behind the glass here, as we call it, our man Al.
Yeah.
Al, what's up, Al?
What's up, guys? What's going on?
So, and you guys, you can catch Al every Wednesday night at 8:30 on the Edge of Philly Sports, the flagship show. But look, man, we got a huge show ahead of us, and what I mean to talk about. So, prior to this, with Dave Mickey Evans going to be joining us a little bit, had me really thinking. And yeah, and it's scary when
This
my
is
brain,
scary.
yeah, because my brain is pretty much fried at this point. But it had me think about the early '90s, and for you, some of you guys, the '80s. What made you like a 4-for-4 fan? Like really, like that's like the peak to me was like the '90s becoming a 4-for-4 fan. Even on our video game show, we were talking about NHL '94. So I mean, like to me, I think everybody was a fan of hockey and baseball and football. And today, like today's kids are just a fan of either or. Like they only have two favorite sports or one favorite sport. Well, I mean, what happened? I mean, so Mike, I'll go with you. What made you a 4-for-4 fan?
To be honest with you, back then, like I don't know, like I actually like my teenagers, man. I kind of went away from the Flyers a little bit. I really
Really?
did. Yeah. I had guys who I admired in the NHL that I liked, and I would follow them other than a team. Um, One team that I did follow was the Vancouver Canucks. I was a huge Trevor Linden fan. My two favorite players that are non-Flyers were Trevor Linden and Doug Gilmour. I just was big fans of their game, and I would, I did get back on track with the Flyers later on. Because I have friends that are watching this that are probably going, dude. I remember when you were rocking them, the Trevor Linden's jersey and the Vancouver hat, and I didn't deny that, man. I did. But they were just guys that, like at the time I was playing hockey too, so that those were guys I wanted to model my game after.
What time frame are we looking at here?
Probably like 93-ish to like 90.
During the Legion of Doom?
No, it was before the Legion of Doom.
Yeah,
Like Lindros got here in 92. Like
Yeah.
Legion of Doom didn't get here till like 96, 95, 96.
That's Brindamore.
Yeah, that was the human Zamboni.
Yeah.
And the crazy, I think the Flyers had the crazy 8 line then. It was
Okay.
it was Lindros, Recchi, and Brent Fedek.
Yeah, but I
Love
mean,
people.
you were still like a fan of all four sports. Like,
Oh yeah, I was a fan of like in high school I was
So
a
you're
huge,
not saying just Philly sports.
Not
you're just
Philly,
saying a
all-
fan of-
fan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, well, that's a lot better. Yeah, because I wasn't a Sixers fan back then either, because I just didn't like the way that they were operating. Like, so I was a Seattle SuperSonics fan. I love Sean Kemp, love Gary Payton. So
Jay Brown, good morning to you, sir. So, even for you, Dom, what made you like into the 4-4? Because I know you have a podcast called
Yeah.
Phillies 4-4. So, what made you a 4-4 fan?
It's funny, Pat, because when I was like I didn't really like have like dire love of sports until probably high school. I mean, I was in high school. I was in high school like in the early 2000s, and I can just remember like liking like whenever I liked sports when I was a kid, I got it from my uncle. Like my uncle, he still is a huge Eagles fan. Like I can just remember him watching like games on Monday nights and ordering like pizza from this place we had in our area called Aromas. Like that's when they had good pizza back then. But anyway, he
Stop
would like
it.
order a
You're getting-
pizza. He would
you're
be
bad
watching the
hungry.
game.
Yes,
So
I'll eat to
I
that.
can remember just like soaking up all my sports love and knowledge from him. And then when I got in high school, I started, really getting into my own. But I always loved the Eagles, like no matter what. I always loved the Sixers, even when they stunk. Because it's all I knew. That was my
Right.
first introduction to sports. And then, like, as they got good, of course, like, during the Iverson era, and then, early 2000s when the Eagles had Nab and all of them, like, I just loved it. Like, it was a glorious time for our teams, except for the Phillies.
So,
And then-
question: when you say early 2000s, because it makes me bring up a question. How old were you? What year did you graduate high school? I guess is
2005.
2005. Okay, so you're a few years younger than me. I'm just trying to think. So you say so you're saying during that 2001 to 2005
Right.
range, that's
Right.
when you were
Right.
that's when you were you're hitting it hard. So
Right.
so it's a little different. So I got mine in the early 90s. I always say my fandom for Philly sports and sports in general started with the 93 Phillies. I was 10. I was
Right.
10 when they
I was in high school.
Yeah.
I was a senior.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
I was 10 when they happened. So I got introduced to oh, this is baseball. This is so much fun.
Right.
And like you said, I'm like my dad was never into sports. That's never his big thing. It was my uncles, my grandfathers. Like that was who got me really into it. And I'm watching that with them, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is fun. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, so this is Philly sports. We're always just this really good.
Yeah.
Damned if I was wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Then they introduced me to the Eagles, and I'm like, okay, Eagles, this is awesome. And they're going nuts. And, at 10, 11, 12 years old, I'm like, I didn't understand everything to the fact. I just see my uncles going nuts and my grandfather going nuts. And I'm like, and then I'm like noticing, like, wait a minute, they were won 6 games that year, but they just act like they won the Super Bowl because they beat Dallas.
Right.
I didn't understand that part, but I started to, and then it really started to sink in. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, like for me though, it's again, I'm gonna go with Al. Like my old man was that '93 World Series, and I can never. Hey, good morning, Dave. You catch Dave every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. You catch my man Euro Paul, the man of the Monday nights at 6 p.m. on Mondays on the Silly Squad. So anyway, yeah, like for me though, like Al was saying, the 1993 World Series, I can never forget the remote sound by my head into the TV, my dad thumping every closet door in the house. But anyway, like you had that. I remember, like I said, everyone had the starter jackets of every, you had the starter, football teams or the hockey teams or basketball, whatever. And then, like, I guess, like with the sports logos back in the 90s, was really someone like a lot of people got into. Like you had like the decent looking Detroit Pistons with the fire horse flames. I think like that's what really, and then like the marketing for all the for sports were really good. You had the Mike Piazzas, you had in the 90s, you had Gretzky's, Lemieux, uh you had for basketball, you had, of course, Jordan Barkley.
Olajuwon.
Olajuwon, and then in the 90s, of course, you had Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, and that's what made a lot of people in this area Cowboys and Niners fans. So again, like even when I was a little guy, of course, I was little, and you want to see the teams that win. So I was like, I was a little Niners guy back. Yes, yeah. So if you want to,
Little Niners guy.
yeah, I was a Niners guy when I was a
This
kid.
explains a whole hell of a lot now.
Why I like the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And what goes on there?
Yeah.
But look, I used to love Jerry Rice, man, because that dude could catch anything. And then you had, the Steve Young. But anyway, I think like the '90s to me, like was the best time for 4 for 4. And then like like I said, today's kids really are not about that anymore. And like I said, prior having Dave Evans come on, look at the movies. You had Little Giants. You had the Mighty Ducks.
Little Big League.
Yeah, right. You had the Rookie of the Year. The Rookie.
Dude, that was a funny movie. And the only reason the only line I remember out of that whole movie was
Funky Butt Loving.
no, is when
I'm a big fan of
John
Funky Butt Lovin'.
John Candy had passed away, like literally, like I think that was one of his last movies that he did, and he said, "Oh, I never thought I'd ever live to see the day that the Cubs won the World Series." And my buddy, without missing a beat, goes, "Hey, John, you didn't."
Jesus.
I had some heartless friends, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They are, but I just remember that, man. But yeah, like you know, getting back onto the 4 for 4 thing, man. Like, yeah, you know, believe it or not, too, like there were some like secondary sports too that,
And I'm glad you brought that up.
like, I'll tell you right now, like Philly's a lacrosse town because I remember the battles that the Wings used to have with Buffalo every year that they would be playing Buffalo for the indoor lacrosse championship, and it would be just like you would thought like those games back then were wars, man. Like you would go you would go to a fight and a lacrosse game would break out. That's what it was, man.
Oh yeah.
And they were just great,
Well,
man.
like hockey was sold by fights. I mean,
Yeah.
you couldn't sell that anymore. Like ESPN was sold based on biggest hits and stuff like that.
And now to your point, I want to touch on a little bit of this. So we're all 4-for-4 guys. How come? And me and Joe Sullivan actually had this kind of debate. Like how come is it hard for other for us to accept teams like the Union and the Wings and to be part of that bracket into the 4-4 club? Like we only count the 4-4 teams and that's it. We don't look at the Union. We don't look at the Wings as to be in that family. Like pretty much, we're not going to go down to Broad Street. We're not going to go to Frankfurt Common and take our shirts off for a Union parade.
I also think I think a lot of it's based on like I can tell you growing up, I didn't have soccer. I didn't have lacrosse like that.
Yeah,
to me that was like
it's a foreign sport.
Yeah, to me, like I didn't know it really until I had like my friends in high school who played it, like lacrosse, huh? It's like a French thing. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't know what it was.
Plus too, like with the longevity of it too, because like how many times did that major indoor lacrosse league shut down and restart? Like the Wings weren't a team that just came
in, Scott.
That just came in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like they had the Wings back in the 70s.
Oh yeah,
playing indoor lacrosse. So like the league kind of came and went. Same thing with the soccer.
Actually, one of our lacrosse guys told me I think their first game was the same night as one of the Stanley Cup finals for the Flyers.
Yeah,
that's how long lacrosse is, and like it wasn't seen because here's the Flyers winning a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, their first inaugural game was during the Stanley Cup finals.
Yeah, that's why. I mean that to me, but I mean like you had a lot of things kind of spawn. You know what I mean? Like I remember, in the mid '90s, there was a national roller hockey league.
Oh yeah,
and Philadelphia had a team. It was owned by Tony Danza. Tony Danza, who now, he was a teacher up at Northeast High School.
So. Yeah, I mean, like I said, so anyway, right now on the line, and speaking of, we have David Mickey Evans on the line. So Dave, first of all, I want to thank you for such a great childhood movie. It's going to be next year will be 30 years since The Sandlot came out, and I want to say thank you because me, my kids, we love this movie, and like I try to explain to my kids, this is what it was like in the 90s. This is what we did for fun. Whether it's coach, if we didn't have baseball, we try and go scoop out the girls at the swimming pool, and you know what I mean, or like we always had the one kid who always wanted to play baseball 24/7, and it's funny because I talked to Marty York not too long ago, and I told him, I said his character, really liked me because that's what they used to call me. They used to call me yeah, because I ran like a duck. But anyway, so Dave, I want to ask you, and I want to ask you, where did you come up with the creation of this movie?
Where did I come up with the idea?
Yes.
The idea?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, guys.
Mm-hmm.
When my little brother and I were kids, we lived on this certain block in the northeastern San Fernando Valley in Southern California, and we weren't well liked. It was a really poor area, and we used to get beat up a lot. And the kids, the rest of the kids on the street, were all sports kind of kids. My brother and I mean, you're talking 8, 9, 10 years old, something like that, maybe 11. And these guys used to play basketball during basketball season in the middle of the street, baseball during baseball season in the middle of the street, all that sort of thing. But they'd never let us play. One day, I wasn't with my little brother for some reason, and he went down the end of the block to see if they'd let him play baseball because they were playing out there. And they hit a ball over a fence, well, actually a brick wall, a concrete wall. And they told my little brother, if you can go get that ball, you go get that ball and you can play with us. Mm-hmm. And there was a really vicious dog chained up in that backyard. They had no intention of letting him play, whether he got the ball or not. Mm-hmm. They were just mean. They were bullies. Anyway, he got the ball, but the dog who was chained up back there rushed him and broke the chain and bit his leg and messed him up really bad.
Wow.
Had to go to the hospital and whatnot. Yeah. So many years later. I always hated those guys,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I carried all that around in my head for a long time. And I don't know, one day I was on the freeway driving home, I think, and that whole incident popped into my head, and I said, "Oh man, there's a movie there. A bunch of kids, summer baseball, and they got to get a ball back." And that was it. That was the whole. That was it. That's all I had. And then, you know, that he was a new kid coming to school, and that the ball was valuable, and it was signed by Babe Ruth. And how does he not know who Babe Ruth is? Because every human being on planet Earth knows who Babe Ruth is. Well, he didn't have a dad, and all these things sort of fell into place as the writing went on. But that's where it came from. And I mean, you know, initially you have a memory like that, or you hit on something from your past, your childhood, and these guys were all bullies. So, you know, I had nobody wants to see a movie about bullies, and I certainly didn't want to write a movie about bullies. So, on that same drive, it just occurred to me, well, okay, then the fix for that is turn them all into heroes. And so that's what I tried to do.
Hey, Dave, this is Mike. I just wanted to ask you, how did you come up with that line? Smalls, you're killing me. I mean, it's one of the most iconic lines in the movie. My wife, believe it or not, is the one who actually is asking this question. I told her you were going to be on, and she's like, you got to ask him, how did he come up with that line?
Well, here's the deal. I mean, it's in the writing of the thing, and I mean, the best, you know, writing sessions, or the best I think any writer can hope for is, you know, you sit down and, you know, many hours later, it's over and you don't remember too much because the characters took over. Well, that little character, you know, Hamilton Porter, the great Hambino, he was easy to write dialogue for because he always, in the writing process, he always spoke his own dialogue. I know that sounds a little esoteric and a little effete, but it's not. It actually happens. And he came up with it. But the original line was, as written in the script, is actually, "You kill me, Smalls," and without an ing on it. So we got to the scene that are in the clubhouse, you know, the tree house, and Ham is making s'mores and stuff, and he's supposed to, for the first time while we're shooting the movie, he's going to deliver that line, and he just blurted it out incorrectly. "You're killing me, Smalls," and all the kids. They were all in the treehouse set while we were shooting that scene between Ham and Scotty, and they just kept cracking up every time we did a take. And Pat Renner would say that line, "You're killing me, Smalls." They would just lose it, you know, because it was so funny. So, and if you actually watch the scene, you can hear some of them busting up in the back, and I think Benny or one of the kids there in the background bites his lip to try to keep himself from laughing. So it's a long-winded way of saying, you know, you always got to be flexible. As a writer, it's one thing. As a director, it's another. And when I saw and heard him and saw the reaction of him saying the line slightly differently, I told him, "That's it. Just keep saying it like that." And the rest is history.
Hey, Dave, how you doing? This is my name's Dom. I'm a guest here today.
Hey,
But
Dom.
I got a question for you. So I'm a big fan of the movie. First of all, I think first time I saw it, I was in 4th grade on a camping trip at school. So
Right.
honestly, the big dog stuck out to me forever. So you know, and it's crazy because I still have yet to show my son the movie. He's only 6 though, so got some time. But I do have a question as far as the concept of the Sandlot. Do you believe that it can be recreated today with like today's children and what they go through today?
Dom, so just so I understand the question, do I think it still exists? Say it again.
Like, do you think it could, like, the concept of the Sandlot could be recreated with today's kids? Like a lot of kids today, they, you know, they're into video games and stuff like that. But do you think the concept of the Sandlot in general could be recreated with today's children?
No, I get you. I totally get you. That's a really good question. I've been asked that question a number of times. In the first tour that I went on with the picture on its 20th anniversary in 2013, we went, I don't know, like we drove maybe like 30,000, 33,000 miles all over the United States for many, many months, and met hundreds of thousands of people at AAA ballparks, major league ballparks, at every major league ballpark, on and on and on. And at that time, let's call it, that's 2013, was about nine-ish, coming up on 10 years ago. I was kind of, I felt, my heart hurt a little bit because what you just said seemed to be completely prevalent. Kids today play video games, they watch movies inside. Does anybody get out and play? Does anybody go down to an empty lot? That kind of thing. And I saw a tiny bit of that, a little bit, during 2013. Fox, the studio, and myself donated a ton of money to build Little League fields where there weren't any, especially some for kids that have physical difficulties, mental issues and stuff, so that it was safe for them to play in a ball field, all that sort of thing. But the thing that you're talking about, Dom, I think is like, okay, here's a block of kids somewhere and name your state, a neighborhood. Do they ever get together and go down and play in an empty lot? Or can that be revived? And today, I'll tell you, I think it can. And there's a couple of reasons for it. None the least of which is the Field of Dreams. And the big deal they had, was it this year or last, when the Sox and the Yankees played and Kevin Costner and all these guys went out there in Dyersville, Iowa, where they shot the movie. They've approached me about having a Sandlot ball game out there at the Field of Dreams or somewhere else.
You gotta. They would have to do that inside. Where is it? Where they hold the Little League World Series?
Yeah.
Well,
Williamsport. Yeah, Williamsport. You would have to do it there. Look, that would be the most ideal place. The Field of Dreams can be for Major League. Then you got to do the Sandlot for the Little Leaguers.
Listen, one day in the future coming up here, I have a whole Sandlot Experience Museum we're designing and putting together, and we're going to have fields like that there. But Williamsport, you're right. I mean, it is the place. I mean, it's happening right now, right? How about that little Utah team, man? They did great. But Tom, to answer your question, I see a lot of instances these days, just, again, this is like the last 10 years, where it is happening. Where I live, I go up, they got a big Little League and baseball complex up here, the Jackie Robinson place. And I go out there, lots of kids, lots of organized baseball, but an unorganized kind of baseball. Yeah, I've been sent, I don't know, scores at least, maybe a couple of hundred videos from parents to say, hey, Mr. Evans, thank you very much. This movie's been great. Look what our kids are doing. And there they are, playing out on an empty lot or something in their neighborhood. And there's a cat named Coach. He calls himself Coach Ballgame. Can't remember his last name, James. Absolutely terrific guy. And he's sort of taken up this mantle, and he goes all over the country and has, quote, Sandlot, not so much competitions, but baseball days for little kids, I think up till about 10, 11 or 12 or something like that. And everybody gets a nickname, sort of like in the Sandlot and that sort of thing. So I do think it still happens. I think it still can happen. But I was admittedly sort of down on that in the last decade. But I'm really happy that I do think it still exists, and it is kind of coming back. Maybe it's the oscilloscope, right? It's like it went down for a long time. Everybody's playing video games. I mean, the world changes on the dime these days, and now it's sort of a thing. I guess the Sandlot's had a little bit to do with that because it's 30 years later and it's still around. Yeah. For which I'm intensely grateful. Sorry, I hope that answered your question.
No, that's good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Actually, my name's John. I'm going to piggyback off of Dom a little bit here. I'm going to be 40 in a few months. And at what point, I showed this movie to my son not too long ago, who's 6 years old, and my 13-year-old watched it a few years ago with me. At what point did I might have an iconic movie here? Like Sandlot is more than just a hit for the summer or something that one generation of kids are going to love, but yet generations to come.
Wow, that's a really good question, and the short answer is there's no way to know that there's no way to know while you're shooting a picture or even editing it, whether an audience is going to like it. You might think it's good. You might say to yourself, all right, that's the best I could do. And it says what I wanted it to say in the way that I wanted it to say it. And then you show it to an audience, which you did for the first time in '93 in Westwood, California, at the Bruin Theater. And that was the very first time I got to see the picture with an audience. And it blew me away because I'd stand way in the back. So, I could watch the audience. Every place we had a joke, they laughed. Every place it was exciting, they were ooh, ah. All of the audience's emotions seemed to be in sync with what was going on the screen, and that was incredibly satisfying and relieving. It was the big relief that, oh my gosh, all those dumb jokes. I'd seen the jokes a million times each because I was editing the picture for 4 months or 6 months or whatever, and you get a little you don't have a lot of perspective after that. So anyway, they loved the movie, and we had a few more screenings, and boom, 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 boom. And then when the movie actually hit the theaters for paying audiences, I went to 50 theaters around Los Angeles and stood in the back and watched people watch it, and every single one of them audiences reacted the same. Few got standing ovations at the end. I guess people were hungry for something like that. I guess it's the authenticity, the honesty, and the nostalgia of it. Anyway, so that happened. I'm getting to the answer to your question. Then, the VHS revolution was still in full force in '93, '94. I think it was end of '93. Yeah, I think it was the end of '93. For Christmas, the studio released something on the order. Remember Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, and all those national rental, VHS movie rental chains were still a big, big deal. They're the biggest thing in the world at the time to get your movies. And I think they ordered something like 700,000 VHS tapes to put into circulation, into the rental market. So that was the first indication that, wow, at the very least, I know the studio believes in it. They think it's going to make money in video and stuff. And then it went crazy on video, and not just people renting it, but buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was another indication. But the answer to your question is the first time I knew that this movie was never going to go away, that it was what they like to call an evergreen film, right? Like an evergreen tree. It's always green. Every successive generation, every new audience likes it, and so on, so on, so on. It just stays with you and stays in the world. Was when it went to DVD, which was, I guess, late '90s, 7-ish, 6, 7, something like that, 8, something like that. And I would see the reports, and it was millions and millions and millions of DVDs all over the world. And at the time, maybe not so much now, a little bit, but not so much now. The only kind of movies that sold in those numbers in the world were Disney films, because they were opening up their archives and, reissuing Snow White and all these classic animated films and stuff. And those, even the ones they did in the mid-90s, a few of which I actually wrote, direct-to-DVD animated movies at Disney, those budgets were like $55 million. And they'd go direct to DVD, and the first day on a Friday afternoon, they'd sell 6.5 million copies of, let's say, Lady and the Tramp 2, or something like that.
Oh,
Those
wow.
were the only movies that sold like that. And The Sandlot just kept selling and selling and selling. And today it just keeps selling and selling and selling. And every year, with a few exceptions, but not many, it sold more, been viewed more and sold more DVDs or whatever the media of the day is, the platform of the day, than it did the year before. So it was when it hit the DVD market that I really knew it was here to stay. Does that make sense?
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Dave, like I said, I want to thank you for like I said, this is a classic. This is a movie. It's meant for generations. Like I said, it's a movie you look towards like around baseball. As soon as baseball season is ready to open, this is one of the movies you're ready to sit down and lock in to watch, and you can watch this for generations and generations. I mean, like I said, my kids are locked into it. Matter of fact, like I rewatched the movie last night with my daughter, and she's only 6, and she didn't get off the floor. She sat there and watched, and I told her the same thing. Like, this is what it was like for me and my buddies. Like, this is what the fun stuff that we did. Whether it's like I said, and then this is really what the nines were like. Kids who couldn't afford to be, a part of a little league team. This is what you kind of had that street baseball team that kind of made that everyday thing happen.
Mhm.
And then, like I said, then you had then you had like the jerks from around the corner come down, and then, like I said, then you have your little scrappy, your trash talk, and all that. So, like I said, this is what me and my buddies lived every summer. This was us. I mean, like I said, if it wasn't getting in trouble playing video or a little bit of video games, but it was more like this was the outdoor life. This fireworks, all that stuff. Like I said,
Mhm.
I remember me being a little guy. I trying to imitate my man. What's his name? Who trying to drown? Fake the drown and
Oh, yeah,
squints,
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 yeah.
and I try and do that move, and I got thrown out. Just so my buddy of mine,
He actually,
my
he
buddy
actually
Sean.
drowned.
Yeah. So my buddy Sean Klein to this day still reminds me of that. He's like, "Yo, you remember when you tried to copy Squints from the movie?" I said, "Yeah, yeah." Like I said, and that's when like I got
Well, let me interject. Did it work?
uh for the second it did, and then I got thrown out the whole spiel. Then my
Okay.
mom took liberties on me, so yeah,
Oh dear.
yeah. I mean,
As you can tell, he's still a little brain dead from it too.
yeah, like I said,
Well, you know what, though, dude. How old were you when you did that?
I got to be around that time, like 7 or 8. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, you're a dude. That's a legend move. You
Yeah,
win.
yeah.
Whether
So
it works or not, you took the chance. Good on you.
yeah. You're right, and I did it. And like I said, did it pay off? Yeah, but I mean, like I said, a lot of us got us growing up in the '90s, imitate that movie, and like I said, and like we always just like the movie, like we had the new kid move to the block, and he had to earn our respect to get in our little club, and he had to show, what I
Yeah.
mean, it's like I said, it was this movie had like a lot to do with our, we all had the tight little club that we were quote unquote that we were part of, and someone's got to earn our respect and try to show their worth and all this stuff. It was
Sure.
like I said, the movie is really legendary, and like I said, it is meant for one of those movies. Like I said, you look for Christmas Vacation, around Christmas time, you look at Home Alone, but this is one of those summer life movies that you look like, man, you can sit there and not move. Like, oh, I remember this movie. And you sit there, you click, and you don't move until the movie is over. Like, that was really good. So, my other part was you're from kind of the area. You're from the Wilkes-Barre area. So, what made you move from here to out there?
Oh yeah. No, I am. I was born in Wilkes-Barre, Luzerne County. There. I still got tons of cousins and family people up there. Oh my gosh, when my brother was probably 2 or 3, and I was maybe 4 or 5. Or maybe a little younger than that. No, my mom moved us. I mean, again, we were very poor. She moved us across country from the East Coast to the West Coast, and I think she was chasing my biological father, trying to find him, and that's long and short of why we moved to Southern California. And I spent my entire childhood there. And it was always mostly in the northeastern San Fernando Valley in Pacoima, which I wrote another movie about called Radio Flyer that
Mhm.
takes place in the same place. So that's how we got there. And, that big road trip. I mean, you're talking geez Louise, 68, maybe something like that, 69. And, my mom was a very resourceful lady, and, she had, I think, $200 and an old Plymouth Valiant. She got us out here, and that's where I ended up going to school, high school, college, and lived about, I don't know, 40 years until I
Wow.
finally couldn't take the traffic anymore. So there you go.
Okay, well, look, for me, Pat Bernard, my man Mike, my man Dom, my buddy Al, like I said, we really do appreciate you hopping on with us, Dave. We enjoyed it. But like I said, if now, have you ever been to Philly, and have you ever had a cheesesteak? As one of my
Absolutely, sir. Are you kidding
Yes.
me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I was in Philly in 208 and 213 and 218 for the 20th and 25th anniversary. And oh yeah, we went to the Phillies game, showed the movie on the big screen for the audience. It was absolutely terrific. Cheesesteak, of course.
okay.
Did a bunch of radio and TV there. Yeah, I've been to Philly a lot, man.
Well, that's good, Dave. And like I said, they call me the gobbler around here because I can throw down. And so if you're ever in the Philly area, man, just let me know, and I'll take you on a tour on the best Philly's cheesesteak spots around here. So like I said, I want like I said, thank you for this classic. This is a movie meant for generations to come. Me, my friend, like I said, my family and friends, we love this. We all grow up talking about this movie. So, and like I said, and thank you
Well,
for so many great movies. You done The First Kid, Radio Flyer, Beethoven 3 and 4, a lot of
Yeah.
great movies. And like I said, but this is the iconic one that stands out the most for us. So, like I said, Dave, thank you so much for hopping on with us. Like I said, if you're ever in the Philly area, just let me know and we'll hook you up, buddy.
I probably will be in the coming, not this year, but next year for the 30th anniversary year. We're probably looks like we might do another tour at all the major league ballparks. So, that'll be up on Instagram and Twitter and all that. So if you see that, shoot me a DM again and we'll figure out some way to hook up there.
You got it, Dave. Dave, enjoy the rest of your day and we'll talk soon.
All right. Hey guys, thank you very much. Thanks for the cool questions and be good, work hard, and long live the Sandlot.
Long live. See you, brother.
Thanks, Dave.
Take care, Dave.
Wow, that was a lot of fun. That was awesome.
It was cool, man. It was cool. Like I said, my wife was the one that actually asked that question though, because she's like, you got to ask him how did he come up with that line,
Oh,
like
man.
what made him to. But yeah, hey, look, I give him props. Like number one, like we are a quarter to 10 on the East Coast, so it's probably
If he's still on the West Coast,
If he's still on the West Coast, it's like quarter to 7 in the morning.
I believe he's in the Florida area now.
Oh, he's in
Yeah.
Florida. All right.
Okay.
Well, if he's in Florida, that's cool. But
still, yeah.
if he was out in California,
Listen,
I'd still be getting tip of the cap.
Doing
man.
an early show is always hard, especially getting people. Early and late shows are the hardest because people are busy or games are going on. So, props to him for doing that for us.
Yeah. So, well, listen. As much as I want to talk Sandlot, we gotta have the show roll. What happened yesterday with this Phillies? Yes.
That's how I feel every time Pat brings up a certain type of meat.
Oh yes. Well, hello.
Well, that's how I'm like I should have this on standby anyway between the two of you.
Yeah.
Every time I see Mike's face, I should just have this ready to go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, exactly. Like as soon as he starts with the Rockets red glare and the sizzling meats, it's just like.
Yes.
Hey, I want to cue that up.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just get you a button out there, Mike.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I saw the porn music yesterday on passing that, but anyway.
See,
This is what happens when you let TK play with the sound.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yesterday afternoon game, it didn't look so good for our Philadelphia Phillies.
The first two games haven't looked good for our
No,
Phillies. Where were the bats?
And on top of that, you saw me go ballistic a little bit on Facebook and Twitter. I said, is it true that these two guys, Nola and Wheeler, come up small in big moments? Because the pitching hasn't looked well.
Nah, I'm not going to go there because Nola just went head to head with Garam the week before.
Yeah.
Like, come on, he had one bad inning. He had one. No, let's put the blame where it lies. Okay, the lie it lies. It lies with the bats. The bats
and a little bit on the defense.
And a little bit on the defense.
I agree.
Yeah, Alec Bohm can't be throwing the ball 6 feet in, 6 rows in the stands. But let's keep the blame where it lies. It's mainly the bats. The bats have been cold. Okay, again, me and Al were talking about this. I still think they should drop Reese Hoskins down in the lineup.
I agree.
And that's the one thing me and you do agree on, which a lot of people don't think there, man. Paul said,
what did your Paul say? He
I was at the game on Friday. So many Mets fans there. I wanted to say go back to New York and make Art Lawrence with you. And take Art Lawrence with you and get him a realtor.
Yeah, well, you know what? He's a roach, and unfortunately.
Well, listen, I'm still not like I'm going to keep saying it. Like, I still don't think the Mets are going to win the division.
I don't know how you're convinced.
Because did you not watch them in Atlanta? They lost 3 out of 4 in Atlanta.
Well,
no, I'm not sold on the Mets. I'm telling you, they will collapse.
Here's my storyline I saw from the side now.
No,
so here's my storyline. This is what I'm going to say to you. This is how I looked at it. People use the term, "Oh, the Mets are living rent free in the heads of the Phillies right now," and I believe for the first couple of days that was true. I think they got slapped around on Friday. They thought maybe, okay, we got Wheeler coming up. We can bounce back with a win with him, maybe. And that didn't happen. And part of it, I think, is also, and I said to you, Mike, before we started, like, you have to admit, at one point, they're human beings, right? If I'm Zach Wheeler, or if I'm Aaron Nola, and I'm getting 0 run support at all, and then the defense on top of it's making bonehead mistakes, it's got to start affecting you a little bit. Then you're like, oh man, what more can I do? And then you start having press. I mean, listen, how loose is a pitcher when you have a 4 or 5 run lead, right? And they can just really hit their marks and do their thing. But when you're sitting there worrying about every little mistake you can make, I think that plays on it. And I think we saw that. And maybe the fact that they won with Bailey Falter,
that's what
I wonder if they're like, okay, well, we in their heads, like, we got to play a little harder now. And it's sad that they have to think like that. But you know, I did a post-game show with Matty B, and I said to these Mets fans who kept chiming in, I said, you know, I want to remind you guys, in 2010 and 2011, the Phillies were like the best team in baseball, and they get past the first round. Okay, so remind you that, like,
listen,
guys, just don't count your eggs.
Let them talk. Let them talk, because you know, like, if you watch my show Thursday night, I had my buddy TJ on. Okay, and my buddy TJ, he's a Birds fan, but he's from like that middle area of Jersey where like it's the dividing line. So he's also a Mets fan, you know. But he told me, he was like, dude, listen. He said, if a Mets collapse, he goes, it wouldn't shock me. Like, that's an old school Mets fan that's sitting back that's already implanted in here. So I'm not, like I said, I've been saying it all year. I still don't think the Mets are going to win the division, and the Braves are knocking. The Braves are only 3.5.
Yeah,
well, 3.5 out.
They're going up against the Yankees next week.
They got the Yankees after today. That's why they saved DeGrom and Scherzer. Well, guess what? The Yankees been on a little bit of a losing streak too. So sooner or later, they're good enough where they're not going to keep losing.
Right.
Well, and the Mets actually swept them the last time they took those games. So there's a little revenge factor there.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I hope that's all true, because the way I see it, I think still, whether, like, and I was watching, Passing Out Fanatics yesterday, I was listening to my man Joe Marks talking, and he's like, and I love him, the guy, but he still wears the red pom-poms for his team. I was like, dude, like, in my eyes, I say, we got to put them down. Like, you got to be, you got to come to the realization that this, the Mets team are good. I mean, they got guys who can hit 1 through 9, and they got a pitching staff from start of the bullpen, and it is what it is. They some reason they got our number. Even yesterday's game, they should have. The Phillies, technically, if you saw that game, they had multiple guys in scoring position, and they collapsed. I mean, it should have been like a 12-1 game yesterday. But I'll take the 4-1. And look, you got to give JT Realmuto his due. Last night he started the hitting wave, if you will. Got the RBI. You got Alec Bowman hit a nice little double. He's starting to come around.
Schwarber's starting to heat up too.
Yeah,
it was an 8-9 game hitting streak at this point.
Yeah, so like he's starting to heat up too, and he's a Met killer. So, like I said, I'm not worried about the Mets. And you know what, Pat? Like when playoffs come, you can throw that out the window, because the great year of 2008 that we all love and cherish, and that people bring up and say that this reminds you of. Well, guess what, dude? We had a losing record to the Dodgers that year. Who did we beat to get to the NL? Who did we beat to get to the World Series? Hold on, no, I'm going to throw even a little more at you. Back in 1983, the Phillies had 1 win in 12 games against the Dodgers. Played them in a 7-game series and beat them again, and beat them also to get to a World Series. So you got to throw that out when it comes to playoff scenarios. The Mets cannot hang with people outside of our division. They've been dominant in our division. If you look at them against the other division leaders in there and other teams from the West, they are not that good against them.
All right, but my counterpunch to you is, okay, we're in the playoffs, right? I know we can hang with the Dodgers. I've seen it. We could beat the Dodgers, and Dodgers are not one but second best team in the NL. But my problem is, if it's
they're the best team in the NL.
Oh, so if it gets down to the NLCS, it's us versus the Mets. We're screwed.
No, we're not, because it's a brand new series, Pat. Becomes a best of 7 games.
Listen, in playoff baseball, and it as anybody knows, it is a clean slate.
Yeah, whatever they did to you.
Ask the Nationals, ask the Braves.
Yes.
Right now, the Mets are living rent free in the Phillies and Pat Bernard's head right now.
Yes, because
and other places.
And I'm not sitting there telling you there's no reason to be worried. I'm not sitting there kind of like, oh man, that way, guys, all the chips will fall in place. Like I'm not getting like there with you, but my point is there is still plenty of time, and I live by the poker term, a chip in a chair. You know what I mean? Like there's always a chance. I don't want to live like that. I would like to see. Listen, we all as Phillies fans, we say we want to see this like smooth ride to the playoffs, to the championship.
Never is.
But that's not how Philly
smooth.
works out. You show me one championship that was smooth.
No.
I mean, go ahead. No, I'm telling you, like,
it's just, like as Philadelphia fans, whatever, if you're a 4-for-4 fan, we never have a smooth sailing ride ever. Like, think about it. Like, back in 2017, we were rolling, right? As the Eagles talking about rolling, and then Wentz gets hurt, right? It just never, it's never a smooth ride ever for us. It's always a bump in the road somewhere. So I feel
there was
like
a lot of bumps that year, man. Everybody started going down that year.
Right.
Yeah,
But I look at it like, to bring it back to the Phillies, like, all right, I would be remiss if I would, tell you guys like I'm not upset that the Mets are in first place right now. Like I hate the Mets. I hate the Mets, right?
I think we all do. Well, except for Pat, he's wearing their colors.
I know. Listen, I hate the Mets, but I do realize that they are a good team. However, guys, we got to realize like this is not our final lineup. Like Bryce is still not back yet. So even if it takes Bryce a few weeks to come back, like to full strength, just having him in the lineup changes a lot. And I think that, we've had like a bad couple weeks against the Mets, like just not being able to hit off of them. But the pitching is A1. I will say that. And I think that we match up as far as pitching is concerned. Our bats are just going cold against them. But like I said, this is not the final lineup. You got to keep that in mind. So when September comes around and October comes around, it's going to be a little bit different.
That's what I said.
And the schedule does get a lot easier for us.
Right.
Well, stop with the schedule.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I have to say. If you take Pete Alonso out of their lineup, okay, they're a different team.
I hate that guy, by the way.
You can hate him, but he's great. Like,
listen,
I mean,
that trifecta of Alonso, Lindor, and Marte.
Yeah, you take either one of those.
Marte just hits against us.
Yes, and if you take any of those three out of that lineup, they're a different team.
Right.
So if you would have said when Bryce went down that we were still going to be in the playoff hunt, everybody and their mom wrote off this season.
Right.
Everybody and their mom did. So the Phillies are there, dude. The Phillies are there. All they got to worry about, you just need an invite to the dance. To enter the dance contest.
I'll tell you what,
get in the dance. That's it.
I'll feel a lot better if they can split the series. And
well, if they split the series, then it's really kind of it is a momentum pusher because it's not a series that they lost.
Right.
They've lost every series to the Mets.
Then my needle goes off.
Wow, that's what we have to worry about.
Oh, well, it only took 46 minutes before we got a needle or a sausage or whatever reference. You're killing me, dude. You're killing me.
Oh, man.
You're killing me, Gobbler.
But like I said, like yesterday was a really good defensive play. Even like and I gotta give my man James Neal, McNeil, some credit. Like that's ball.
Oh, he's your man now?
No, but look,
he's wearing his colors.
But no, I mean he looks like it looks like it was gonna be a straight drive, to bases loaded. It looks like he was gonna be, and he came across.
I'm gonna give my boy Castellanos a great shout out for the catch he had last night.
That was a game saving.
That was a game saving catch.
That altered that game. And that if he didn't make that catch,
they were tired.
That was a much closer game, and then than it
Castellanos,
really
and you know what? Like I said,
Deveraux had a nice little throw yesterday.
Yeah. Well, even the sun shines on the monkey's butt every now and then.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Right. Hey, Pat, do me a favor. Stand up real quick. I want everybody to see your shirt so they can vote on how Mets colored this shirt.
Yeah, stand up and tell me that, Pat, that is not purple. That is Mets blue and orange.
And black. If you wear blue, orange, and black, those are Mets. I mean,
why just put a baseball head attached to me? You know what I mean?
You should.
Yeah.
You'd probably make more sense.
I mean, we just paint your head white. Let's call you Mr. Baseball, too.
Mr. Met, too.
Mr. Met, too.
What do you think? I got a Mike Piazza tattoo somewhere?
Probably.
Located somewhere?
Probably. Only Monique would know.
Like a tramp stamp?
Only Mo would know. Only Mo would know. And I don't want to get into that right now. No, I do not want to see, and neither does anybody else watching this. Look, you feed this guy one sandwich, dude, and right away he's off the rails.
Yes.
Most people get off when they're not fed. They get a little low blood sugar.
Right,
Yeah.
Does his blood sugar just go through the roof or something? Like it?
I have no idea.
Speaking of getting off,
Yeah, I'm about to. The show.
but look, I mean, the Mets look so aggressive. Like I said,
Stop with the Mets love.
but I'm just telling you what I've seen against this team.
Oh my God! It's a
And now look,
combination. The Mets are a good team. They are. I've been saying it. They are a good team.
Yeah, can't
But
take that away from them.
we beat ourselves as much as they
yes,
beat us.
and you know what?
A lot of errors.
Yes.
That's what it comes up. That's what that's what it comes down to. Like,
They got to stop beating themselves.
I
Don't
gotta- I
even
gotta
return to that.
Psychological. It's a psychological game.
I got a question for everybody though. I've been mulling over this thought for like weeks, and I'm just like, I haven't seen it yet. But will the Mets collapse?
Oh, most definitely. I've been calling it. I've been calling it since he's been. Look, he's rocking he's rocking the colors
Well,
now. You
here's-
should have seen him in May, dude. He was like literally jumping around with a big old apple. He would jump up and down like the home run. Every time the Met hit a home run, he would jump up and
I'm
down.
just calling what I see. That's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
and I'm not saying that they will collapse to the sense of like, an epic like 2008 collapse. I'm not saying that, or 2007,
Oh, I
whatever
do.
year.
I think the Braves are going to win a division.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, will they collapse to the point where it's like, wow, like September came around, they just fell off the face of the earth to the point where like, yeah, they're in
You
the
can only
playoffs,
hope.
but
You can
I mean,
only
you
hope.
can only
It
hope.
have
I
to
mean,
have to be injuries.
Look at the date, August 21st. You got 6 weeks ish left of meaningful baseball, and like Pat said, you can look at the schedule all you want, and yes, they had an easier schedule in the beginning, knowing that their division was struggling across the board, and they have a harder one. But this is where you're going to see, are they really that good of a team? But are they going to go into the playoffs smelling themselves and let up a giant goose egg in the first round or two? God only knows.
That would be the Met thing to do.
We
wouldn't it?
have to stop worrying about if they collapse. We have to stop worrying about. You need to start charging them rent, Pat. Right now, you have Mets envy, and I'm not kidding with you. Right now, you're watching a team who is clicking on all cylinders, and you're rooting for a team that some cylinders don't click all the time when they're supposed to.
right.
And you're envious. It's envy right now. It's not jealousy.
Right,
It's not you're a
right.
Mets fan. In all seriousness, you're watching a team that you hate and that you would love for this team to beat, who is just a well-oiled machine. And our machine, it's got its moments, but could use a little bit more oil.
Look,
that's most
and-
Philadelphia fans. Most Philadelphia fans feel that exact way. Like they're really upset because the Mets are in first place, and I'm one of them. Like I hate that the Mets are so good, but they are so good.
But
like,
like I said, it got to the point yesterday. I'm watching this game, the first game anyway, and the second game made me feel a little better, but the first game kind of made me. I felt like, wow, that hot streak that we went on for the past 2 months meant nothing to this team. Meant it didn't scare the Mets a little bit. If anything, they're like Al alluded to, they have rent free in our heads, and it's, to me, it's like, how can we get past this team? But like Mike is alluding to, like, when we meet in the playoffs, they may collapse it. But however, like, we all had this expectations they were going to collapse in June. They've been sitting at the top of the mountain in the NL East for the whole spring and summer, and we have to tip our caps to that, and whether we like it or not, that it's
They've been sitting there because of injury. That's why they've been sitting there. Okay. The Braves had to deal with their best 2 players being out of the lineup. Okay.
yeah, but they
The
lost.
Phillies they lost Harper. So no, I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to tip my cap because it's a 162 game season. And listen, if they go wire to wire, then they deserve to be the division champions, but they're not going to be. Look what I told you last week when we were sitting right here at this. We were sitting right here. I told you. I said, look, they geared everything up for this Phillies series. I said, watch what happens when they play the Braves right after. What happened? The Braves took 3 out of 4 from them.
Right. So, and look,
and they even beat the Grom.
Let me ask you.
So-
Let me ask you. Okay, say if the Braves do win,
Right.
and the Mets are going to have to fall to the wild card spot. Are you more comfortable playing a Mets in a one and done situation or playing them in a series?
Because, well, one, you wouldn't play the Mets in a one and done because you would have.
It's a 3-game series.
It's a 3-game.
So it's
well,
5-game series.
It's a 5-game series.
5-game series.
But it
where you need 3
wouldn't be.
wins.
It wouldn't be them too, though, wouldn't it? Because once you play
If they win, if they stay where they're at, if everything was to end today, wouldn't they get the first? They wouldn't play them. They would play whoever's in
They would
second.
First,
they would
well,
play whoever has. All right, say Atlanta wins the division, right?
Yeah.
Dodgers are first, so the Dodgers would play the wild card team, and then
Yeah.
two and the three would play each other.
And like I keep telling you, like it's baseball. I mean, look at all the teams that won
Yeah.
the championship in the last 10 years. A lot of them were
Just gotta get
guys
hot,
at
right.
this, even at this point in the season, you were not voting to win. Like, it wasn't the easy, sexy pick. You know what I mean? Like, I actually rather, and I know this sounds like a really weird thing to say, and just sounds like a guy who's not in first place thing to say, but I'm okay with him not being the second, because you know what? They need, here's the thing is, the fact that they played the Reds and the way they played against them, and then they played the Nationals, and they were just smoking them. I mean, I was at the Nationals game. I'm going to today's game. Like, I'm watching them. Like, they sometimes when you smoke these teams, you kind of get overconfident.
Mhm.
And then now you're going up against good pitching, good defense, guys who, you got a really good manager in Buck Showalter who knows what he's doing.
Right.
Knows how to, get in your head. He knows what to do. So just worry about what's in front of you. That's all the Phillies can do at this point.
Right.
Stop worrying about if the Mets collapse. Stop worrying about
Yeah.
if we're in first place, second place. Just worry about getting to the games
I will say
at
this.
that point.
I'll say this. At the end of the day, you still got to play the games. Like,
Mhm.
regardless of if I think the Mets will collapse or the Phillies will collapse like they did in the last couple of years, like, you still have to play the games. You got to play who's in front of you, like you just said. So if we get to the playoffs and we got to meet them, or we get to postseason, we got to meet them. You got to play me. You got to if you really are the team that you say that you are, you got to play me and you got to beat me. That's how I feel.
All right.
And don't forget, in 2020, during that 60-game season, what happened? They only had to win 1 of 4 games against, what was it, the Marlins?
Yeah, Marlins. I know. I think it was the Braves.
The Braves. I'm sorry, the Braves.
Braves or the Mets.
It was the Braves. And they only had to win 1 game. One
Yeah.
game. And they couldn't do it. So talk about a collapse. In a 60-game season, having to win 1 of 4 games, you can't do that.
Right.
That's like losing your last 15 to 20 games
Right.
in a
and
normal season.
Even like last year or the year before, we had Nola and Wheeler going in, and they, like you said, one of the two had to win, and they couldn't get the job done. And so let me ask you guys a question: how do you guys feel like? Do you feel like the Nolas and the Wheelers and even Reese, during that afternoon game? Do you think these guys are going to come up cold, or do you have? Let's be honest. Do you guys have faith in this pitching staff to win a few games in the
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
postseason?
I do. I do.
pitching
And
staff,
even
yes.
and it goes a lot further too than just Nola and Wheeler. I mean, Ranger Suarez has been pitching lights out. Like, I would not have a problem if it was a do or die game, and Ranger had to pitch.
Mhm.
You're going to get a really good outing. The only guy really in our starting rotation that I would really be worried about would be Gibson, because Gibson to me is a guy.
Syndergaard.
No, I would have faith in
I'm not even
Syndergaard.
that worried about Syndergaard.
Even Matty B brought up to me the other day, and I actually didn't even notice this. I kind of just assumed he was going to be pitching at one point, because I didn't look at the whole matchup for the whole weekend. And the second time he would be going up against the Mets this season, and they changed his.
Yeah, that was the Phillies'
rotation.
decision. It wasn't his.
Yeah, no, but also they did that to him
Well,
the
another thing
Angels.
too is he's still coming back from Tommy John.
I get that.
So
but
I mean, maybe they're trying to limit.
here's my
guess-
point: is I do not in the starting rotation. No, I don't. Everybody goes, "Oh, here comes September. Nola's going to suck." Let's let it happen. Everybody's ready for it to happen. How about we let it happen? If Nola starts to suck, then you can have my told you so's, because guess what? That and 35 cents ain't getting you jack shit, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you need to, we got to stop. You know who hears that? I'm not sitting here saying that Aaron Nola is listening to this podcast, or Aaron Nola is listening to WIP or 97.5 or anybody else's, but there's a million people on Twitter goes, here, Aaron Nola throws one dead pitch at the end of August, and here we go. He's going to suck. He has
Right.
one bad inning. He's going to suck. We have to remember, that's the problem with Philly sports fans. We have a short-term memory and a long-term memory, but they never kindly coincide with each other.
No.
Because Cliff Lee had the worst first inning stats.
Yeah,
Right.
that was the whole key to him. If you got to him in the
got
first,
through the first inning with him safe, you were okay. That's what you wanted to do. You want to hit
Same
him
thing with
early.
Doc.
Yeah.
Doc was the same way too.
Yeah.
If you got the Doc in the first inning,
Mhm.
you know, like a lot of people, they put Doc up on the pedestal here, but Cody Ross owned him.
Mhm.
Right. So listen, so let's take away for today's game. Gibson is going to be on the mound today versus Jose Votto.
Yeah, he said first time. I think it's his first big league game.
First big game. All right, so
Yeah.
that doesn't bode well for the Phillies because you already know they bring up.
I always think that doesn't bode well for most teams. It's that fear. That's the unknown.
Yeah,
you have no
because
real
look at the
tape on
kid.
him.
Look at the kid for the Reds that came up and pitched. Now he was like making his return or whatever.
I think what you have to do with any young guy, it's not like because one of the most frustrating things for me with any team is when they have a young guy who's first time in the league. All they try to do is blast home runs on this guy.
Right.
Death by 1,000 cuts works just as well in my eyes. Like, just keep dinking and dunking them. Like, you hit singles, doubles, getting long pitch counts. Even if you get out, don't give this guy 1, 2. Give him a 12 pitch inning.
Right.
You give a young guy confidence, it can move a lot smoother. You know what I mean? You're gonna have your Max Scherzers and DeGroms whispering in his ear the whole time. Say, yeah, do you want you're gonna do this? Like, because right now, if I'm pitching against the Phillies, I'm throwing high heat all day long.
Right.
I'm throwing high. I'm not gonna throw you anything else but high fastballs. You know why? Because our team chases after him like Pat chases after a cheeseburger. I mean, like it is.
That's probably my chunk now.
Killing me, Smalls.
You're so killing me.
But my point is like, if they just sit there, calm themselves down. You know how like the catcher walks out to the pitcher and it's give the old calm.
Yeah,
calm
JT's got to do that to the turn around, look at the bench.
Yeah, I'm not guys. Just calm down and go out there and don't try to blast a home run. Go out there and make contact. Go out there and build up his pitch count. Get him in because you know what's going to be. Even if you get a no runs in the whole first inning, but if you have a 25 plus pitch inning on him, especially into the 30s, that's enough of a mental game. He's going to not last
that long.
You might get 3-4 innings, 5 tops out of him, depending on how quickly the rest of the innings work.
Right, they got to work them.
You got to work. You got to once again. You got to step back. You got to stop worrying about, all right, this guy's play some home runs, be good with it. No, you got to go in there like 1 inning at a time. Just chip away at him. It's like chopping down a tree. You're not going to get it in one swing.
So, Pat, since you're going in the Mets colors, what do you think? How do you think the game's going to go today? I want your opinion.
No, I think the Phillies will win today. I think.
Oh, they're going to lose. Gosh darn.
My name's not John Lee. Let's not get twisted.
I don't know. You're getting close.
No,
I
guys are sharing uniforms. That's for sure.
Sharing more than just uniforms. But anyway, I think I think the Phillies will win today. I think Gibson's going to do a fine job on the mound today. I think that the Phillies are going to play off last night's momentum, and they're going to carry through, and they're going to take care of this. Like you said, the unknown factor of a unknown pitcher coming to the mound. I think the Phillies are going to take advantage of that, just the way they've just been hitting the ball. So I think the Phillies will be A-okay today. Matter of fact, I expect JT Remuda to go off today.
Phillies just got to hit, man. Like, yesterday we were fortunate in the, game. Like, we've been hitting, but like we haven't been scoring runs. Friday night was a game where we had like a lot of runners in scoring position and we couldn't get them home.
So was last night.
Yeah, last night too. So the Phillies just got to keep on hitting, man. They got to just.
So what's your prediction? Are they going to win today, or are they going to?
I'm saying 6-5 Phillies.
Okay, so you're saying around 6-5. I don't know, but for some odd reason, I think 2 guys are going to go off today, and
hopefully they're wearing Phillies uniforms.
Yes,
okay,
they are.
Just want to make sure.
I think Castellanos has a big game today.
I was thinking that.
I think he's going to have a big game today, and I think Alec Boehm's going to have a big game today.
I think
so. I think them two having big games where they are in the lineup. I like Gibson today. I think Gibson's a better pitcher than the one that the Mets are throwing out there. The Mets already have the season series wrapped up.
I think this is a getaway game for the Mets.
Well, it is because like they got to go to Yankee Stadium. Like they're going home, they got to go to Yankee Stadium for the next 2 games.
I think they're more focused on the Yankees, who what are they like 4-18 or something? Yeah, in the last amount of games.
Vicky Pizzetto was great.
Somehow they're still in first place. That's how much of a lead they had.
Because if you look at that division, dude, that division at the All-Star break was the only division that was above 500. everybody in that division, Baltimore was over 500.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole division's over 5. It's good. It's a very
The Blue
good.
Jays, yeah.
And it's funny you said about Nick Castellanos and Alec Bohm. You have feeling that they're going to go off today. It's funny, and I gotta take it. My man Matty B, he likes to bash my man Nick Castellanos, but guess what? My man is leading the team. He's got 124 hits.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
team, and Bohm's right behind him.
Yeah.
So
Well, listen, the thing is that, like I said, I kind of gave Nick a kind of mulligan just because, like I said, how late he got here.
Mm-hmm.
After everything opened up, he really didn't have a training camp. He wasn't supposed to play.
There's also that I just signed my big contract. I always like every team, every player signs. They're always playing well. Then they finally sign that contract, and they have a bit of a slump afterwards.
Yeah,
I
think
there's
he'll be
a lot
okay.
of reasons, but it's just everybody. It's just we want instant gratification. We're Phillies fans.
Right.
So one more segment before we transition. We have an Eagles game today.
Yes,
we do.
As you can see, I got my green on, baby.
Yes.
I am watching that game today.
Same time almost. So.
Yeah. So
I'll be going back and forth.
What do you guys want to see today? Who do you guys?
Defense.
We're going to see a lot of Mitchell today. So,
I don't care about him. I want defense.
I want to see Carson.
Defense. So do I. I want to see Carson Strong. Dress him today.
I saw that face, by the way. I said Carson, and I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah. I saw our old Carson yesterday.
Oh my God.
He was brutal.
On Twitter, I saw that.
Oh, he was brutal.
It's so funny you guys brought up. My dad called me up immediately. Are you watching Carson? I said, no, not really. I'm taking some notes for the show tomorrow. He's like, turn on the TV. He stinks. He's holding the ball too long.
Oh my dude, he was bad.
Yeah.
He was bad yesterday.
Well, guess what?
Looks like he didn't learn his lesson. I said the only thing is, they said if Carson wants to be better, all he has to do is look in the mirror and say, listen, I need to make some changes in my game.
I think he will because, really, this is his last stop. That's everybody's agreement. This is his last stop as a starter.
I said the Commanders could be a sneaky good team if Carson gets Carson gets out of his own way. That defense is a good defense. The front, especially, and they have some good wide receivers. Their line's a little suspect, but other than that, I mean, it's just Carson for you.
But yeah, I want to see the defense today. I want to see the starters get some reps.
Speaking of tweets, anybody see the Mikal Bridges tweet? He said, "Hey Mets, hold that L at the end of last night's game."
Wow.
I was like, God, man, the Sixers really pissed up on this guy.
He's great. Did you hear what happened?
He is my biggest.
Brown's fault.
If we sat there and did biggest Philly sports regrets, I got to put him up at the top.
Oh yeah, his mom works for the Sixers, and you trade him away.
It's not even just that, man. He's so.
But did you hear Did you hear what he did? Right, he had a bet with my brother, who's a Nova alum, loves him. We were talking yesterday. My brother tells me, he apparently when they came to town to play the Phillies, and the Phillies won he has a bet going with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's like, well, if you guys lose that series, there's got to be a Mikal Bridges day in Arizona. So when they go out to play them later on this month, there's going to be a Mikal Bridges night there, and he's throwing out the ceremonial first pitch.
Really?
That's awesome.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Well,
That's dope.
We want to talk about some regrets. And there was a hockey player who wanted to play home for Philly, and we just said we're not attracted to him. But that's another whole hour.
There must be a whole condo that's just the people living up in that brain of his.
Oh man! And Chuck Fletcher, he owns it.
Chuck Fletcher and the Mets have the keys to his condo.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Johnny Condo, dude, there is a whole neighborhood up there.
The complex, maybe?
Not a complex, a neighborhood.
Yeah.
A Philly neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about regrets. Yeah, South Jersey, they want to go play. And
I feel like you need to be on the couch somewhere and just be like,
you need to go see Joe Fish.
Anymore.
No. He's got to go see Dr. Fish.
They can't hurt you anymore.
I told you, like I said, I know I told this story a lot, but the best was with Tom Kelly and me. And this is a few years back, and I saw Florida Wives Carnival, and this guy's charging this amount of money, and this guy's charging. And at the time, they were already out of a wild card or playoff contention. And I just looked around, and my face is turned red, and Tom Kelly is laughing. And he's like, "Don't do it, please." And I said, and I saw Dave Haxtell sitting there. I said, I go right to Dave. I go, I'm like, where's Ron Haxtell? Get him out here right now. Where's your ball set? Get him out here right now. I said, that's stiff. Get him out here. I said, you want to have this guy charge me $40? I ain't paying spit for you. I said, you're kidding me. You're kidding me with this.
Wait,
Yeah,
is this at the carnival?
this was at the
So
carnival.
you're not. You pretty much said I'm not paying for charity.
I'm not paying, dude.
I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah,
like,
well,
See, now you know what kind of person Pat is.
well,
Way to go.
F your charity, Ron Hextall.
dude, I went berserk, and Tom Kelly just sitting there, just rolling. He's like, "Pat, you just got no filth." I said, "I don't care." I said, "This team stinks. I ain't paying nothing around here. I hate this team." Oh man.
But yet you were at the carnival.
Well, I mean, of course I love it, but I mean, when you're out of it, and you just go berserk once in a while, and that's I lose it a little bit.
Oh yeah, just a little.
God, why did he not have his phone out recording?
Dude,
I
listen. This is why
that would be a complete video I would have on loop.
Dude, I almost got into a fist fight at Animal Kingdom. It was me and my
on vacation. This guy's on vacation gets into a fist fight.
I'm going to ask you a question. Was it with the guy that took care of the lions, and were you mad because he threw the steak at the lion and you wanted that steak?
Well, no,
Yeah.
I would have fought him too. But no, I mean, it was my oldest, and he's a little guy at the time. Me, my wife, my oldest, and we're just looking at the iguanas and stuff. And all I hear is, and this guy comes in this dirty New York Giants shirt. He's behind me, goes Eagles blow, and I turn around. I saw him with his Eli jersey. I gunned it for him. I said, so me and him were like this. I said, no, your Giants blow. Bite me, pal.
See,
and Monique's going like this the whole time.
Yeah,
I can't go out in public with Pat.
See, look, poor Dom's like.
First part, you should have felt bad for him. Like, dude, you're wearing the Eli jersey. I mean, why don't you wear some panties while you're at it too? That's what I would have followed up with. So you got to be smart. See, you go right from 0 to 60.
Yes,
I go for the jugular. I go for like, okay, he's being nice about. Oh man, he just got me. He got me. Like I've gotten like that from people. Like I go after them. I'm like, oh, it's Eli. That's cute. Does that come with the pink lacy panties?
Yeah.
But let's try and get back on rails here. So,
whoa. Was there rails to begin with?
No, never. So Don, what do you want to see from this Eagles team today?
Look, I've heard enough of the Jalen Hurts. Is he the guy? Is he not the guy? Talk. Honestly, like I kind of agree with Mike. I just want to see the defense. Honestly, I just want our guys to get out of the game. Nobody's hurt. Everyone's healthy. Just a good, healthy first quarter football. That's really what I want to see.
I just want to see on blitz. Just show me Jonathan.
They're not going. They're not going to do that in preseason.
Yes, they are.
They're not going to do
that.
They're not going to do it, dude. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Not in the preseason.
Listen, if they
just
blitz,
like they're not going to throw a 60-yard pass down the field.
If they blitz, I'm going to make sure I
text me. Text me right away. And go. I told you so.
Nope.
The old "I told you so."
I will.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make up for EOP. I'm going to have like "I told you so" cards, like tokens that you guys can hand out and cash in at the end of the year.
Dude, that'd be great.
I'll actually have like real prizes.
Just don't have nothing with me.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
Well, I'll have like real prizes and like maybe gift cards you can buy his own meat. I'm
tired of hearing them talking about it over here.
Oh man.
But my point is like they're not going to listen. It's going to be vanilla. All right. They may send some things out there they may blitz, but it's not going to be with anybody you want to see. Let me put it that way. It's going to be a bunch of guys who aren't going to start the season. That's when they'll blitz.
Listen, I just want to see the defense, and I want to see Carson Strong. I want to see what this kid has.
Yeah. Well, so far, according to reports, it hasn't been pretty. But whatever the fact is, kind of like what Dom said is there's no Jalen Hurts conversation right now. There's no reason for it. You may see some like there was that video I saw online where he threw on the run. He threw to AJ Brown.
And AJ Brown, he lost him. Yeah, Greedy Williams.
So that was that's good to see. You want to see those. I think that's the most you're going to see on the. And I'm in the same category. Like I can't sit here and tell you that Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy, but it's going to be week 1 is going to be put up or shut up time for him, and for the Eagles to find out what's going on. So at this point, I'm good with seeing what we're going to see from the defense. I'm good with seeing what we're going to see from maybe the non-AJ Browns and Devontae Smith wide receivers. And my biggest thing is still and everybody. I've been saying this since before he got hurt. The running backs. What are the running backs going to do? Miles Sanders is God only knows, and I've never been a huge Miles Sanders fan.
Going to be an Eagle.
Well, they're getting a good.
Hunt's going to be an
what
Eagle.
was the old saying from? Remember Tommy Boy goes, "You can get a good look at a steak by sticking your head up the cow's ass." But I'll take the butcher's word for it. Well, he's kind of getting that. He's kind of getting that mentality. They're getting a first-hand look at him right now.
Well, no, I don't think he's playing.
Well,
he's not playing. Like he wasn't practicing either. Like he's.
They're talking to him.
Yeah. Well, they're talking to him, but like, I'm not happy with Miles Sanders, and I'm a Penn State guy. Just not.
Penn State running backs, they have such great potential, but injury bug, man.
Well,
Penn State running
wow.
backs are
Our
bad.
man Anthony just checked in. He said Carson Strong is the guy for the future and not Jalen.
Listen, I pumped the brakes on that one, but all
yeah,
right.
you might want to switch.
I mean,
nibs.
listen, if they somehow hit the lottery and get this guy's some franchise quarterback that nobody saw coming, that would be amazing. But let's be honest, the odds of that are slim.
He's a good quarterback.
He is a good quarterback, but is he a good NFL every day?
I think he can.
Well, we'll see a lot.
I think he can be.
Yeah.
I think he can be.
Right,
He's got the arm and the accuracy. As long as we can keep that line. If Jalen's not the dude, man,
we'll find out. Time will tell.
And Mitchell is.
We can't.
No.
We can't keep
Calm down, Joe
speculating,
Sheeran.
though. It's just like
I'm not speculating. I'm
we
just
gotta,
saying
we
if
gotta
he's
let
not.
we gotta let Jalen play, man. Like, just gotta let him let it rip.
Look, I
please.
mean, like I said, I'm not going to get too excited. I'm not going to take my junk and stick it in a sandbox.
Oh God.
But
I'm not
killing me, Smalls.
But you know, what I mean, but he did go 6 for 6 last week, and look, I get it. It's practice. I get it. It's the Jets. But still, I mean, his footwork and everything, his accuracy was nice last.
Don't that hurt?
You were right about it?
No, don't that hurt?
What hurt?
You sticking your junk in a sandbox? Like, who does that?
Yeah, and why a sandbox?
Yeah, why sandbox? I mean, we just talked to the guy who directed and written The Sandlot, and you're talking about sticking your junk in a sandbox.
And kids play in a sandbox. There's so many connotations.
Yes.
That you should have just picked. You could have picked 1,000 other things.
Other than that.
Fine, I'll slap it on
No. You don't get to take it back. You get to be ridiculed.
I've heard sticking your junk in the suggestion box.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. Like,
let me suggest
poor Mo.
this.
Poor Mo.
It just gets
I would like to do. We should do like a wife show and just let the wives sit in for us and like tell them about the story. Let them tell each other about. Oh, you see what he's like on the air? It's 10 times worse at home.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Dude, my wife would do that in a heartbeat.
I would Mo just to. I would Mo just to.
Yeah, a roast. Hey, look, I would.
Yeah, I would Mo just to bring the bill for the food shopping list.
Right.
We would be able to live in a mansion if it wasn't for the food.
Yeah. Well, some fat slob over here sees Ilya Pizza just sitting there. That's gonna come up.
I feel like he's not even the guy that cooks it. He just eats it cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a popsicle to him.
Here, Angelo. Oh, you didn't want that, Angelo? I guess it's got to go somewhere. We can't just throw money away.
I can say. You're not. That I was going to eat that. Well, you were.
You had 5 minutes to get to it. It was looking good.
Time was ticking. So
Pat, how many brothers do you have, or brothers and sisters, siblings, I should say?
I had 4. It's just me and my brothers. But yeah, growing up in a house of 4. Yeah.
You would think you grew up in a house of 19. Is the way you like. It's survival.
The way he scarfs down food, you would think he was like a hostage.
That's why I'm asking that question because I wanted to know. Like,
the best is with the first time I got with my wife, and I'm at in-laws, and I come back with a plate like this, and my wife's uncle just goes. He takes off his reading glasses and goes, "Hey, young man, you can go back for seconds, right? You know that." I'm like, "Dude, I had never."
I will.
I never had
will.
it. Listen, I had Wawa mac and cheese my whole life.
So wait, this is the first time you're at the family's house, and you got to.
I made a slaughter myself.
Oh, jeez.
And I don't care. So. But I said, look, I never.
Well, listen, Mona, listen, you can't feel bad for her now. Like she knew what she was going to get. Like,
she signed up.
This
for
has
it.
been like this for this didn't sneak up and scare her from behind.
No.
This was in her face the whole
something
time.
else, snuck up from behind. But we won't get into that. But
killing me, Smalls.
But anyways, man, look, this has been a great show. Like I said, we got Eagles and Browns today. We got Phillies and Mets. Go ahead, Mike.
What do you?
Talking
food, meal.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Before we get any more, I forgot to tune up my man here. Pay the bills here. Jeez, what am I thinking? So let's hit up my man Dave Cherry. Guys, work compensation, medical vehicle accidents, personal injury, criminal law. You guys hit on my man Dave, 610-565-0300. Give him a shout.
And
the bus trip, man, going to DC. Come join guys like myself. Big Al is going. The rest of our crew.
A lot of EOP crew.
EOP crew is going. We will be having alcoholic beverages on the way down there, so definitely make sure you come down. But guys, for $325, you can't beat it. You get a lower level bus or lower level ticket, bus round trip, food, drink, entertainment. I mean, God, you don't even get a ticket and parking for $325 down
that's why
there.
I tell people at the link, you don't even have to You can leave
Yeah.
5 minutes from here and spend that before just buying your ticket.
Yeah, well, listen, I actually drove down in 2019. I got me and my buddy TJ, who was on my show. We actually went to there, and I spent more than that, and I drove down. So between gas tolls, parking, and ticket, I
You
spent
probably
more
spent
than that.
$500 before
Probably.
you even bought a beer or
Yep.
a hot dog.
Yep. So yeah, definitely make sure you guys go down there, man. Like I said, it's going to be a great time. You got the guys from Fourth and Drawn are going to be down there, along with Bell and the Birdman, which is our buddy. So
E-Rock.
yeah, E-Rock and
The
Hollis
NEPA
Thompson.
guys, Northeast NEPA.
Yeah, NEPA.
They have a huge crew coming in because they have to leave. Like, I feel bad for those guys. They got to leave like 5 a.m. because they're coming from Northeast area. So they're gonna have like 3 or 4 buses or something. Of those
Yeah, there's
guys
going to be
alone.
a ton of buses going down there. So
Yeah.
we're going to be having.
It's going to be a sea of green.
Right
pretty
now,
much.
they're sitting at about 75%. So of hitting that 1,000. So you're looking at about 750 so far. So you want to get to that 1,000, you still have time.
I believe Chris Therdrick's going now.
That's right. Yeah, too. Our own Chris Derrick's going to that
Yeah,
too.
so
Yeah, definitely do that, man.
And if you're gonna, here's the thing: is if you're going to be down there, or you're like, all right, bought tickets. Me and my buddies are going down. We bought tickets. We're driving ourselves down. You can buy the tailgate and just be part of the 1,000-person tailgate.
Yep.
You don't have to buy the full ticket. So
yep.
There's
and that's the same thing with home games too, right?
Yeah.
With the home games, with Philly trips too. With the home games, if you just want to go to the tailgate, you can just buy the tailgate and hang out there and
right
watch
at the
game.
Navy Yard, which is
right
like
at the Navy Yard,
spitting distance.
Yep. So
yeah,
definitely want to do that, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
So
look,
Pat, before we go, what's the meal of the day?
What's the meal of the day? I think Monique wants to do some Parmesan chicken.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Dom, what's yours?
My meal of the day.
Like, what are you going to be watching? Why are you watching?
Are you going to go Browns and Birds, or are you going to go Eagles and Mets?
So I'll probably
Dude, it's 2022. You got 7 screens going.
Yeah,
you were doing it last night. You're sending pictures of watching the Phillies and the Union.
Yes, that's true.
If I could put the Eagles on the TV and probably have the Phillies on the iPad. So.
Yeah.
Now, what do you got going with it? You got a burger? What do you got? I love a good wiener.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, thank you.
You should just walk around with that like a little device so you can hit that.
I'm actually gonna get like
He was pretty much doing that on the.
I'm gonna get him a shock collar.
I think I know what to get Monique for Christmas.
A shock collar.
I'm gonna get Monique that little sound button for Christmas.
He was pretty much doing that on the comments yesterday. They were passing out. Like every time I leave on, you hear Mike go, dude, jeez, dude.
Oh, dude. So, what are you eating there,
Yeah.
Dom?
Probably just a slice of pizza. That's a slice of pizza.
I'll actually be at the Phillies game. So I'll be taking in the Mancos. I'll take in a little of the barbecue. I go down there. I turn into a bit of a gobbler when I go into the stadium.
Yes.
I don't want just one thing. I don't want. It's dollar hot dog night, but I'm gonna have a pulled pork sandwich too. I hate to break it to you. I mean, as you can tell, I'm not the slimmest of pickings.
Now, have you tried the peanut butter and jelly burger?
I have not. And
It's awesome.
So here's my little trick, and I don't know if I should say this on air because I do enjoy my spot. So if you ever you're on a budget. I got 4 kids, so so 6 people going down to a game sometimes can be costly. So what I do is there is a certain sections on the end of the Hall of Fame club. So the Hall of Fame club's the 200 level, right? But on the end, there's about 3 sections. What makes it perfect is it's like half the price. So you're only paying about $30 a ticket, give or take, depending on the game. You're in the shade. They have their own little stands with sodas and hot dogs, nothing crazy right there. Your own bathroom. The escalators are right there to take you right down to the food section, and you're always in the shade. So, like, if it's hot or starts raining, you're not going to get bombarded. So that's my little trick. So that's what we'll be today. So what's nice is I get to hang out right there. I go right down the escalator, and the peanut butter jelly burgers are literally at my feet. So I might try it.
Try it. You
and I
won't
love
regret it.
peanut butter, but I'm like one of those guys who don't put peanut butter. Like my wife, if it has peanut butter in it, it's for her. I like peanut butter. So I'll be interested.
It was good. We had it opening day.
Was it good?
Yeah, it comes with like a jalapeno-based jelly, which is really
So it's
good.
not just grape jelly. It's a
No.
jalapeno.
Okay. It's like a jalapeno-based jelly. He was
so that's savory, spicy.
but no, not even spicy.
No, it's not spicy at
It's
all.
not spicy at all.
No.
And I even with the jalapeno, I'm like, but trust me, I'm the guy that would be throwing hot sauce on top of that.
Yeah.
But like, it was really, really good. But me, I'm probably going to do probably meatballs. Throw them in the crock pot.
Nice.
Kick a roll meatballs.
Yeah.
Nice.
No.
Meatball sandwich. You throw
Yup.
some ravies in the boiling water. That's what I'm gonna say. I grew up in an Italian household. That we ate pasta 7 nights a week. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's
Well, Sunday for me, Sunday was always a big pasta day. So
I grew up in, I always, people make the jokes about, oh, Sunday you go to your grandmother's house and Italians. I'm like, that was common. Like when I stopped doing that, probably about 16, 17 years old, and like we all got older and kids had to start having kids and all that stuff. But no, every Sunday, right now I would be leaving here, going to my grandmother's house to watch the games on my grandmother would be bringing us food, and we'd have dinner at 3, and then again at 6, and then dessert at 7.
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's why I'm as big as I am.
yeah, Italians, man, like you eat, you
Yeah.
eat.
Yeah, the appetizer was like a tray of meats and cheeses. Yes, calm down. I saw the eyes light up. But
See, you had to say
I
meats.
know.
You
But
had
like,
to say meats.
like seriously, the table I'm sitting at, because you guys can't see this. This is like a 8-foot table. About 6 feet of it would be covered in meats, cheeses, vegetables, peppers, onion, all that stuff. That would be what she just laid out covering her table. That was like your first part. Like most people, that would be dinner.
Yeah, no, and that was just the wet your whistle, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
and then you would just the macaroni, the meatballs, the sausage,
Yeah.
the whatever
meats,
else.
we had certain ones go to certain people, because when Nana she made the sauce, like
The
she
gravy. You can't call it sauce. You call it sauce, man. You got smacked with a
put,
spoon.
well, here's the thing is, we'll explain. We'll go over. That's a whole different story. But here's my thing is, when she had certain meats she would put in there. She put a piece of hot sausage, regular sausage, chicken, a whole onion. By the way, little trick of the trade, and I'm missing what else? A piece of beef, just twined up. And then she would cook that all day, and it would just soak up all the oils and just mix it together. But each person got a piece of that. Like my grandfather always got the chicken. That was his. Nobody else got that. He could not be there that one day for whatever reason, which he never wasn't there, but that was his. If not, it was being saved for him. My dad actually would eat the whole onion.
wow.
So the point of the onion is, just for you guys to know, is to soak up the acid in the tomato. It keeps you from getting the indigestion. It's not about flavoring.
Yeah, it's either that or sugar.
Yeah, it's a whole onion. So you don't see, sugar sweetened up the sauce too much.
Yes.
So nobody liked that. So we put the onion in, and all it did is it soaked it up. So my dad would get heartburn. He wondered why, because he's eating every bit of acid in the tomatoes in that onion.
Right.
But he would eat that onion like a piece of steak. He would slice it up and eat it like
Really?
that.
Wow.
I got to a hot sausage. Go ahead.
No, but anyways, because I know where I'm about to go with this one.
I was gonna say.
So look, for me, my man Mike, Dom, Al, guys, thanks for checking into the show. And look at this ahead before we roll out of here. Look at the lineup we got. I said there's a lineup of shows. I'm not going to get into all of them.
Well, just today. Here's
Just
today.
today.
Look at today. You had Deveraux today.
Yeah, Deveraux today. You have the
You have
Eagles.
pre and post game. I didn't even put that on there. That was my bad. There's a pre and a post game for the Eagles. Painted lines are putting together, as well as a Fightins final with Matty B. So the way the games are locking up is there's probably going to be post game Eagles, post game Phillies, because the Phillies started a half hour later, and I usually go about a half hour longer.
In case you guys don't know, yes, if you guys were looking for your lacrosse tonight, they moved 2 Saturdays at 4:00. So
just today.
Yeah,
That was just this
yesterday?
week. So if you
Okay.
missed it, just hit the podcast. Just find us on any podcast. The podcast for today's show will be up later today as
Yeah.
well.
So, guys, like I said, the EOP network is growing by the second. You see the shows we got loaded with a bunch of different voices and faces. So, guys, like I said, check EOP, check Deveraux Sports, check the Painted Lines. We are all branding into one unity. So, guys, have a great week. Stay tuned. More fun action ahead today on the EOP network. All right, guys, we're out.